She did a very good job for our community, children, school, Gurdwara.
I'm very grateful to the Punjabi community for always being with me. We've brought recognition to this community, to this wonderful Sikh community, that again I have an honor to represent and an honor to call my family and my friends. We have brought a community that has been invisible into the light of the world by implementing street co-naming announcements in the way of Punjab Avenue in Richmond Hill and Gurdwara Street in Richmond Hill. After I win re-election will be to continue the work that I've done, but to take it to another level.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ all Indian community in New York is a big community, helpful together. I thanks for all media, different channel to come today to primary election to help our councilman Adrienne. She run councilman already previous 4 years before. She did a very good job for our community, children, school, Gurdwara, church. I believe all media, they have discussed last year also, few months before. So we know all together, we have to live this country. We need to support each other one. I believe they recommend to all community to come out the vote. Mostly people vote election day, not come out the vote. It's very important to come out everybody. Every single vote is very important. Mostly we have to live this country. We have to grow up this country. We have to business this country. We have children in this country. We have to work together. All American, Asian, every community will work together. I'm thanks for Adrienne. She already here. So I can tell her, please come over to, we have to give the message for all community. Thanks for coming here.
Thank you so very much. Greetings to all of you. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak to you, this wonderful worldwide audience. I am Councilmember Adrienne Adams, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure to represent District 28 in Queens. Richmond Hill is a very, very large area for me to support, happily support. For over 3.5 years, I have provided funding that has never been seen before in the history of District 28. Funding for our libraries, funding for our schools, funding for our seniors, funding that we've never seen before across the board. We've brought recognition to this community, to this wonderful Sikh community, that again I have an honor to represent and an honor to call my family and my friends. We have brought a community that has been invisible into the light of the world by implementing street co-naming announcements in the way of Punjab Avenue in Richmond Hill and Gurdwara Street in Richmond Hill. It has been my distinct pleasure to bring legislation to the New York City Council that enabled these street co-namings to happen right here in Richmond Hill so that our communities could be recognized where they have never been recognized before. My appreciation shows strong and proudly through the community in Richmond Hill and throughout all of District 28. Thank you again for inviting me here. It is my distinct honor to be your servant.
Any question?
Yes, that's a great question. My agenda after I win re-election will be to continue the work that I've done, but to take it to another level. We know that there are language barriers in several areas of District 28, and Richmond Hill is one of them. I've had a satellite office here in Richmond Hill for over 3 years at the Lefferts Library. We've brought legal services free to this entire community the whole time. So we've had the first presence here in Richmond Hill for the New York City Council that has never been here before, right here at Lefferts Library. My intention is to continue to break down the language barriers by providing services through that library, providing services through our partners in the library that we bring in, nonprofits, to help with the language barriers, to help with educational barriers and other barriers, just like we've been doing throughout this entire pandemic. We've been able to bring in PPE and food into the community. We've been able to bring in vaccines into the community and COVID testing through my satellite office at Lefferts Library. I continue to expand that service once I am reelected.
As a new mayor will be in the office and whole new city council will be in the office, what is your agenda to fight the violence every day it's going up? How you guys can tackle the violence?
The violence and the quality of life right now are front and center for all of us in the community, for everybody, even in the whole of New York City because of the spike in violence. My responsibility as a council member, and hopefully the first African American speaker of the New York City Council, will be to partner with our next mayor on an agenda that will properly and equitably take care of our public safety issues. We have to work together. We know what the problems are, and the way that we solve our problems will be for the speaker and the mayor to work together to solve the problems. Again, we live in these communities, so we are a part of the situation that we see right now declining and deteriorating when it comes to our quality of life issues. My responsibility will be to bring my quality of life issues into the forefront as a citizen. As I keep telling everyone, I am your council member, but I'm your next door neighbor also, living the same life that you live, not living somewhere in a tower someplace. I live this life also, so it will be my responsibility to partner with the mayor to help us with our quality of life issues.
Like a few days away from the primary election, so what do you think, how the Punjabi community is supporting you? Because you fulfilled those demands which was long pending for the decades. So you fulfill their demands now, how they are supporting you?
Punjabi community has been tremendous for me for a very long time, actually. I didn't just arrive here into elected office by myself. We've been unified for a very, very long time, even before I was a council member. My message has always been, if and when I were to be elected to the seat of city council or any other elected seat, that my mission was going to be to unify this district, because for far too long we've been looking at it and it's been interpreted one side of the Van Wyck, another side of the Van Wyck. My mission has been to unify because we are one district, not one side, not another side, but one unified district. And I've accomplished that in a lot of ways, and I'm very, very proud of that. I'm very grateful to the Punjabi community for always being with me, because I keep hearing we don't have a seat at the table from other people that have been on the outside looking in. You've always had a seat at the table as long as I've been elected to be your representative, because I brought you with me. And I will continue to have you with me for as long as you'll have me.
That's great. So we saw there is a strong support behind you in this politics, especially in this election. What's your advice to new candidates who just came on this table and they are trying their luck? What's your advice? How should be they prepare and then come to the election? Because this is not an easy cup of tea.
That's right.
So how they should be prepared and then come to the election to represent this district especially?
My advice would be always to start to learn the community, start to learn the works of the council, because we're not celebrities. We work 24/7 and the job is very, very hard. We represent over 160,000 people in the district called District 28 that I call the Great 28. So this is not a game. It is not where you practice. You have to know something. You have to know the community. You have to have walked this district inside and out. You have to have walked these schools inside and out, the libraries that need repair. You have to know what repairs need to be done. You have to know that there are public housing areas and know the people and know their needs, their requests, so that you can meet those needs. You have to know what the city budget is all about and what we can do at any given time and what we will have to wait to do at another given time. It is not just looking to see fault, but is looking at reality at a very, very big picture. So my advice is always to start where I started, and that was the community board. That's the first line of governance to all city agencies. That's the first line to learn the ins and outs of your elected officials, what they do to develop relationships, which are so important. I came into this position as an elected official because I knew my elected officials. We had relationships. We had good relationships. So I came in bringing those good relationships with me into City Hall. I built on those relationships, and I built what we never had in this district, and that is a footing for funding for the people of District 28 that is historical and unprecedented by anyone that preceded me in this seat. So my advice would be, learn your community, learn your community's needs, branch out, do your homework before you jump into the deep.
Thank you.
I want to ask you on the camera, there were 2 lanes were turning on the Van Wyck
Yes,
few years ago.
yes,
Then they changed 1 lane.
that's right,
So 1 lane is going to Van Wyck.
that's right,
And 2 lanes
Is it
going to
going?
94th Avenue, but nobody want to go there.
that's right.
So is it possible to change again? So everybody want to be on
I
the Van
believe-
Wyck.
Middle and they make it happen now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was 2 lanes going there.
yeah, and we've got to do that. Actually, please remind us, because we've got a tremendous list into DOT right now of things that we want and need them to do in the district. That's another one, so remind us that has to happen. Just,
Is it possible that DOT do a survey, ask the people what
Yeah.
they want?
oh yeah.
But they never do. They
Well-
just post a sign.
Well, surveying the people is one thing, and DOT doing their studies is another thing. DOT does studies, which we're going, what are you doing another study for? We're telling you what we need because this is the road that we travel. But their process is to do a study of the community and a study of the particular area that we put in that needs to be fixed. So they'll look at it again, and we will insist again that it be changed. So that's the way the process works. And again, back to your other question about the mayor and how that works. Once the new mayor comes in and the mayor and the speaker work together to change these processes that keep us bogged down throughout the city, that's another way that we can break through these processes, this terrible red tape that we have to go through in this bureaucracy. It's for the mayor and the speaker to work together to make the changes.
But I know on the North Congress Avenue, it was 35 speed limit from the ages long ago. They put a speed camera, then boom, speed limit 30.
Yeah.
A lot of people getting tickets because people think this is 35.
I know. I hear it all the time. Again, that state legislation, that changed, and it changed a lot because of speeding that's been going on, particularly through the pandemic.
It was 35 and there were no many accidents on the North Congress.
Yeah, it's something else to look at with the state. Yes.
So we saw, especially in Canada, the Punjabi community is long before the United States. So we saw there that we are very forward in the politics in Canada, but we also seen that every day the news, drugs, gun violence, everything is going between our community. But
Yeah.
recently we also saw in the Queens also from last 2 years, there are also many cases in which the youngsters have died with the drugs, especially in the Queens. So do you have any plan, or did you try to approach the DA office or the local enforcement to check what's going on, who's behind it, and why the people are going free who are involved in this whole project?
Yeah, each case is individual, so the DA's office will tell you that each case has to stand on its own merit. We know that, again, drugs and guns coming from various places. We don't create them here in our communities. So we know that there is an iron pipeline that comes from the south that is bringing those guns in here, and that is something else that we need to look at. Again, hopefully the next mayor already has a plan for that. As far as the drug epidemic is concerned, drugs have been an epidemic in our communities of color forever and ever. The thing is now, what now is the new drug? We're hearing opioids now, you know, that have been killing our children. So we've got to, again, take a look at, you know, where that's coming from. That has to be taken a look at. And again, as you said, the perpetrators cannot be allowed to get out 24 hours after they have been charged formally with a crime. Again, that comes back to state legislation that we've got to take a look at and change.
Every year, 10 to 12 young Punjabi die. Only this fact is 1 or 2%. Overdose with fentanyl and K2 is normally available in Bangalore. We need a specially concentrated.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Okay. So, any appeal for
एक ना पंजाबी एक मिनट में बोल रहा
Yeah. You want to ask a question? Oh, listen.
Okay. So,
Always.
an appeal for community and we can find out.
Okay. So again, as the representative for this wonderful district that I call the Great 28 of Queens, it has been my esteemed honor and pleasure to bring you with me to the table, to bring you with me up the steps of City Hall, to bring you with me into the budget negotiating room, of which I am an appointed and proud member, to bring you with me into the public safety hearings on the Public Safety Committee that I chair, and to bring you with me on the 5 other committees that I sit on within the New York City Council, places that none of my predecessors have ever sat before. So I want to thank you for your continued support over the years. Again, we are one district. We are a unified body. You have always and will always have a seat at the table. As long as I have a seat at the table, I bring you with me, and I thank you so very much for the honor of being your council member.
ਅਸੀਂ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਹਿੱਲ 'ਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰਿਕਟ 28 ਕੌਂਸਲ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਐਡਮ ਨਾਲ ਖੜੇ ਹਾਂ। ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਵਰੇਜ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਆਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੰਮ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਹਿੱਲ 118 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਦੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਟਰੀਟ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। 101 ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਐਵਨਿਊ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ। ਸਮੋਕੀ ਪਾਰਕ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਕੇ ਚੇਂਜ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ, ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਥਾਵਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਡੀਐਮਵੀ ਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਟੈਸਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਹਨ। ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੌਂਸਲਰ ਮੈਨ ਨੇ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਲੈਂਗੁਏਜ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੂਰੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਪਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੌਂਸਲਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਾਉਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੌਂਸਲਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਸੋਚ ਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਬਾਕੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਮੁਲਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਹੈ। ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਗਰੋਅ ਹੋਣੇ, ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਨੇ। ਮੈਂ ਆਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੱਲਾਂਗੇ। ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਮਸਲੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਨਵੇਂ ਵੀ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਕੋਈ ਜਾਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਰਹਿ ਸਕੀਏ। ਕੋਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੜੀ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲਾਂ ਆਈਆਂ ਹਨ, ਬੜੇ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਬੰਦ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੁੱਠ ਚੱਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
Thank you.